What's up, everybody?
Hey!
Welcome.
Finger guns, everybody.
Yeah, finger guns right off the bat. That's what kind of live stream this is going to be. So you are in for a treat. Happy Wednesday, last Wednesday of the month. That means it's literally Wasted Wednesday. And Christy and I are coming to you from the sunny beach in Destin, Florida, where we have taken some time away from our wonderful vacation to be with you people, which is
That's dedication.
Dedication. So let's hope that our internet holds up here.
Yeah. Not just time away from the beach. Today is your mother's birthday.
Yes, today is my mom's birthday, who is here.
Happy birthday to Mrs. Schwartz.
Is she even watching? She's not
I
even
hope
here.
not, but
we'll play it for her later.
Let's all say thank you for letting them stream on your birthday.
Yeah, today's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
And Christy's birthday
was 2 days ago.
And everybody sing. See, she loves it when
yeah, especially if you look her right in the eyes while you do it.
And he did. He aggressively made eye contact while singing happy birthday.
Nice.
But on the bright side, he did it to his mom tonight, and it was hilarious when it's not happening to me.
Yeah.
Nice.
You got to make direct eye contact.
Aggressive eye contact.
Nice.
But today we are here to talk about the entirety of Red Sister by Mark Lawrence, which I hope you all have read as well. Do you want to do some shout outs?
It's a weird discussion if
we're going to spoil everything.
Yeah, we're going to ruin the book for
and
you.
It's Jenny Jones's birthday today, too.
Happy birthday!
Right, I forgot.
Talia, do your shout out song.
Okay. Hi, Misty and Spare and Giggles with Kay, Tammy and Kay again. Hi. Hi, Jody and Jenny and Misty and Brandy and Jenny, Katie, Bethany, Victoria, Jane, Adrian, Nikki, Kent, Will, and Natalie, Julie, Matt, Nicole, Emily, Adrian, Tammy, Jody, Spirit, Brandy, Julie, Jeff, Stacy, Melissa. Hi. Hi.
We really should maybe extend the melody of that song so that there's a little bit more note changing before you hit that one section of the song that just ends up being
that's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot. I would have tried to do it to the tune of Happy Birthday, but honestly, I don't think I'm that talented.
Victoria, that's okay. I just finished the book this morning. So
I just finished the book too.
So do we want to what do we think about this book? What do y'all think about the book?
Yeah.
In the comment section.
What everybody think?
We've got some comments from people who
give us your Twitter your Twitter review.
You just paused and now I'm scared.
Yeah, let's keep it to 40 characters.
40 character review. You want mine?
Matt Scalise's birthday. No, his daughter's birthday.
So it's Saturday.
Birthday,
well, hey,
happy
we have
birthday.
a teenager now. Yeah. So my thoughts on this book were that I wanted to like it, and I like the world of the book. It's a fascinating world that has fascinating things, but I think the way that the story was told just turned me off. It felt too. It was like it didn't really have anything driving it. It felt really episodic, which is, it's good if you want to watch like a TV show from the 90s, but like everything was like it just like this happens and then this happens and this happened, and there wasn't. I think people commented about this not really having a strong through line. There were certain things that kept coming back, but it just felt so episodic, and then like I don't feel it earned like I'm reading it on a Kindle so I can see how long the chapters are going to take, and each chapter felt like an episode of the TV show, and then you get to the last chapter, which is like an hour and 30 minutes long, and that felt like the season finale. It's like, oh, here's the 2-hour finale of a show that it was kind of, I don't know, felt unearned. I wanted to like it, but the way that the book was told, that was more than 240 characters. Somebody else go.
I pulled a Christy. I wrote down my thoughts during the second half.
I'm so proud of you.
Well, it's because I thought that I was going to continue reading right away, and I was like, okay, I can't be like a mound of spoilers, so I'm just going to write down my thoughts so that I remember. And then I didn't start the second book yet. or baby. That's what I say. Okay. 2 years. 5830653.
Very helpful 2-year-old there.
Yes, nice.
Uh,
I liked the book, but I just had some problems with it. And we started the second half, like after the last live discussion, and immediately Nona gets beat up by
hang on, Christy. There she is. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Elba!
Happy birthday!
She says hi. They say happy birthday. We're back. Sorry.
No, yeah, but immediately once we get back into the second half of the book, Nona gets beat up by her classmate, and then like the next day gets almost killed by Zol. I don't know. I was just so disappointed that like I felt like the book should just be titled Make Nona Suffer, because that's clearly what the book was. It's just like, let's just see how much we can beat up Nona. And I understood it in the first half, and I didn't understand it in the second half, and it really disappointed me. And it kind of,
she did suffer quite a bit
She
in this book.
did, like ridiculously suffered. It didn't make any sense. But I mean, I'll probably keep reading, but it's not high on my list, I guess.
Fair.
I have some similar thoughts. Do you want to go or do you want?
I'll go. I listened to the audiobook, so if you got your bingo
Yeah, I
card,
did
go
too.
ahead and stamp your bingo card. Thank you for Katie Dahl and Kira for putting our bingo cards together. More of those to come, I think. So stamp the audiobook. Lucas said the audiobook. I will be returning the audiobook. I already did.
Oh, wow.
It just flatlined for me. Like I felt like after our first discussion, I was kind of jazzed up. You know, everyone was kind of talking about the world, and I was like, oh yeah, if we get more of that, I'm going to love that. And the characters, like, it just hit this flat line for me where I did not care about the characters. I didn't care about, like Adam said, these little episodes. And yeah, it kind of got a little better towards the end, but I didn't care enough to by the end of it. So it just kind of flatlined it. And but I was anticipating that it was really going to jumpstart after the halfway point, because I did get a little interested, and that was a really good cliffhanger. But yeah, then it just didn't go anywhere for me.
I love this line. There's just so much going on, but not going on.
Yeah.
That is
True.
similar to one of the things that I noted. I said, honestly, I don't remember where I was in the book when I wrote this down, but I said, honestly, I don't understand what's happening right now, just going along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like that's on me. Like, there are definitely times where I know it's my brain is not comprehending what I'm reading, but there were a lot of times in this book where I was like, I feel like I'm keeping pace. It just doesn't make sense. There's a lot that was going on, like, all the time, and it was really, really hard to keep track of a lot of those threads, like, no pun intended, because of the path, huh? But like, I could not keep them all straight, and honestly, I had to just let some of them loose and like not care about them anymore until they got brought back up again. And if some of them didn't get brought back up again, I don't know. I didn't remember, and I didn't suffer for it, I guess. But I did like this book, like I did. But the thing was, I wanted to love it.
Yeah,
I
me
wanted
too.
to love it, and I didn't. But I did like it, and I really do think that I'm going to keep reading. But the thing is, like, I finished reading this like a week and 5 days ago, and I was like, I could probably finish the trilogy before the next discussion, and then I just didn't pick them up because the urge wasn't really there.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I felt the whole book was. Like, sure, you keep reading and you keep getting more, but none of it really felt connected enough. Like, there was no point to anything. Oh, and there was also a really disappointing lack of assassin nuns
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's just all about the little girls. Like, I mean, sure, like, you know, as you read the trilogy, I'm sure they're gonna get older and then they're nerds. But like
Yeah.
for now, I was like, this was a children's book
Yeah.
based on age.
I was more interested in the prologue, the Grey Sister chapter, and the epilogue. And I feel like the rest could have been condensed into like a quarter of a book, and he could have launched into the next book. I just feel like he just kept spinning the same thing over and over again. I was like, I get it. Let's go ahead.
I have a note to follow one of the things that you're saying. I wasn't going to talk about it until later, but now that you said the epilogue, when we were at the end of the book, that's when I was more excited to jump into Grey Sister as the next one.
Yes.
Right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I was more excited to keep reading, when like this crazy, like super gory, like finale battle is happening. I was like, oh, I'm ready to like read the next book. I'm into it. And then the epilogue actually took the wind out of me. I don't know what it was about it, but I like was excited and ready to read the next book. And then the epilogue left me feeling really meh.
Yeah, the
I
epilogue
don't know why.
was
It was wishy-washy.
well, it was like, okay, so like, this was my thing, and it's the same. We're talking about the same thing, but like, first of all, I think it was Matt. I put his comment on screen. The action sequences were great, but I felt like they were undeserved. Like, I don't feel like we earned those big set pieces at the end of the book, because like what yeah, and then you know, like, it happened, and in the end of the we're going to do spoilers. It's fine, but like, you know, the chapter right before the prologue, the season finale, as I call it, you know, it ended with her, you know, becoming this all-powerful fighter nun, and they bested Raymel Taxus, and hard stop.
Who needs therapy?
Yeah,
Big time.
Well, needed. He's dead now, but
Oh, well,
and then you have this epilogue, which does nothing.
No, it took back all of the badassery that we had in like the
Badassery.
first bits. Because like, well, no, in the very first, the way this book started was fantastic with that prologue, right? And then she basically dies in the second one, like where we stopped, because she gets like stabbed with a spear. And then we learn, she's actually fine. Probably. There's still time to save her. And oh, Clara, why don't you just come with us and fight with us now? Like, why?
I forgot. That reminds me, I also wrote, so when I was complaining, I was like, okay, the ending was fine. Not the direction I expected, with Lil Nona Cage turning into just a character hungry for violence. It feels like we lost the super astute girl from the beginning who learned how to juggle by watching. And that's why, like, by the end of the epilogue, I was just like, this isn't what I wanted, because they've just made her into like this war-hungry character, whereas beforehand she had all these skills. The first time we meet her, she's catching apples with apples, and then by the end, she's just like stabby everyone, and it kind of made me sad.
I like her rap name, Lil Nona Cage.
Yeah, that's what I wrote. Lil Nona Cage. I know. Like, I thought she should be so much more.
But there were so many things that, like, I feel like we're supposed to be big reveals that, like, it's just like, yeah, no, that's, I could have told you, like, when we got to that little mini gray section in between our halves, and like Era gets it, and she's like, no, she says a word that starts with a C, and then it gets cut off. You know, I remember saying to Christy, it's not Cage. She was saying Clara.
Yeah, no, he did. He called it from the very beginning. Well, and even like closer to the end of the book, Clara betraying Nona was so telegraphed. I really don't think anyone was surprised.
Yeah, see, Clara was terrible.
Yeah.
Just the whole time.
And from the discussion topics post, Natalie said, I'd like to know if everyone else was screaming at the book when Nona was all, oh, I don't need the sword. Okay, thanks, Clara. And then tosses it away. And Adrienne had the best response ever. She said, I bet even Clara was like, really? It was so obvious.
And I think it's just the thing with Yish, there were so many like, okay, like they would go through these things and like bad things would happen and then they would just brush it off. And they would be like, okay, new episode. Now we're back in class. It's like, no, somebody threw ice at you. Somebody threw like an ice
And that never
asteroid at
came
you.
back.
Oh,
yeah.
there's another disappearing thread.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah, for a book about threads and like pulling at
The
people's
story
threads. Like,
unraveled. Sorry.
I mean, okay, we have a lot of negative things to say about this book apparently, but there was also some really great things about this book too.
There
The
were.
world is fascinating. I actually liked a lot of the characters. I just wanted more. I wanted more character development. I wanted more story for them. I definitely wanted more Sister Apple because she's the best.
Yes, she is. I wrote down one thing that I liked.
What's that?
That makes it sound bad. I saw the word love. So I was like, ooh. I loved when Nona has another realization as the narrator that the way she's been viewing things is skewed and that has altered how she treats people or how she reacts or how she sees things. Like, so her initial impressions of Era, and I don't know when I wrote this down, but there was obviously some other moment in the second half where she was like, oh, I realize I've been thinking this because of these things, like where she has these preconceived judgments that she's made, and you get to actually see that switch happen in her brain. I enjoyed that.
I just want to say I agree with this comment.
Yeah.
We were talking about the things we liked about it, but
Oh,
I agree with this comment and
yeah. Tell what's her face.
and Joe's comment. But the world is really fascinating. I think that he sets up a lot of cool things about what goes on here.
Yeah, the magic system's fascinating.
I think that people live to be like 300 in this book, in this world, because like she's talking about sisters that are really old and then they flash forward and they're still like around. How far forward was the epilogue than
it
the
didn't
story?
I don't
say.
If they're sisters and it takes like a decade to become a sister, then it's possible she was only like 18. Or 19, if depending on how old she was when she got there. Because I think you like fully graduate as a sister. It's like 10 years of training is something that I read somewhere, unless I'm making that up.
I've never heard it put quite like this, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, there were some really great things.
I like that line too. That was great.
I think that Mark, he's a really good writer. Like he's like the way that he writes dialogue and like thoughts and actions and things like that. Like that, the way he plays out these scenes. She's waving.
Sorry.
She can't see us. I don't know what am I waving at.
It's like it's really well written. I just think that where he excels in sort of the minute details, he didn't excel as much in the broader scope of the story.
I'll say Joe, I think, said it earlier. It's forever ago. You probably can't scroll to it, but it does give me hope. He said that he continued reading the trilogy, searching for more answers, and that he got way more than he expected. And so that's reassuring because I do want to read on and I want to love this series. And so I'm really hoping that, like some people have said, that this is kind of almost more of the world building book and that you get more stuff in the rest of the trilogy. And so I'm hoping that proves to be the case, even though it would have been nice for them to all be really strong, but that's okay.
Agreed.
I do like it.
It just wasn't enough. But like, and I think we can pick apart, like we can get into it. Like, all right, what did you think about Nona? Like I've already seen people chime in the comments about it. What did you think about Nona?
I mean, I kind of love that she was a really damaged girl who really truly believed she was a monster. I like getting that perspective and having the story from her perspective. I thought was really interesting. I wanted it explored a little bit more.
I like that her eyeballs are black forever because they matched the potion wrong.
Well, the potion can just kill you. Like it doesn't necessarily. They even said sometimes the cure is worse than what you're trying to cure. Oh, and Hessa.
Yeah, Hessa was my favorite character. She's the only one I really cared about.
Every time Clara called her like Stumpy or whatever it was, I wanted to punch her in the eye through the book.
That's fair.
It made me real. Oh, but speaking of Hessa, I wrote down plot hole. How come they never address either like it didn't happen or it was never addressed? When Nona was whipped to within an inch of her life and her back was entirely lacerated and stitched up, where was Hessa? How was she feeling in that moment? Was she just
Probably not so
fine?
good.
I think she was passed out at that point.
Because, like, but they never said anything after. It would have taken one sentence of Hessa being like, yeah, I blacked out, thankfully, from the pain because we're connected. But no, we got nothing.
Yeah. And I was looking forward to the Marcus payoff too. I was so excited that she was going to go see him. And then they were just like, kids. Yeah, I thought they mentioned that she passed out. I thought that was with the whipping,
Yeah.
but I wasn't
She-
sure.
She passed out another time.
Well, it's because they kept destroying Nona.
Like, I mean, yeah, like, I do feel like that's, I think why it bugged me is they mention how, someone find it for me, please. Give me a page number. Because I swear it drove me crazy because I was like, I feel like every single time Nona got beat up, they address it. Every single time they were like, Hessa got hurt. Hessa thought she was drowning. Hessa thought she was choking. Hessa fell over. Like, Hessa fell over a bunch. But then I feel like when she got whipped, I didn't see it.
I also don't feel like I needed to be constantly reminded. Like, I don't know, like Mark Lawrence took great care in reminding us that Hessa had a withered leg. I was like, no, I know. Like,
He described the way that she like always talked about the tracks like in the snow or like what like her footprints looked like, and I was like,
The cripple.
what? Why do you keep calling it withered? Like, just
yeah,
we
withered.
know
Yeah, it's like
she's so much more than that.
again, going back to the whole episodic thing, it's like we need a little refresher on who Hessa was. Oh, she's the girl with the leg. But yeah, Hessa, there was so much more to Hessa than her leg.
Let's talk about some of the twists.
The twists.
The twists.
Yeah.
That first of all, how Nona and Ara are actually both shields, and Zol is the one. I don't remember what
The
the
chosen
word
one.
it was.
The Argatha or something.
What?
like
How
that.
did y'all feel about that?
Argatha.
Argatha. Yeah, that's right.
But
Argatha.
is she?
Who knows?
Who knows? It
I
changes.
don't know anything.
Does it even matter?
It keeps changing, and it's all fake. So
And because the chosen one isn't even like a real thing, because we also learned that the 4 ship hearts are the thing that unlocks
Yeah.
the arc.
well, that's at
control
least
the
what
focus
Yish
moon.
thinks.
Which is a
what they- her
satellite.
sister.
Which is really cool because now we've all like discovered, yes, it feels like we should be in the past, but we're very much in the
We're in the
future,
Sure.
which is
Yeah.
cool and weird and trippy.
And what are the ship hearts?
Yeah, what is it?
Is it
A generator, a nuclear generator.
But it gives you
The
special powers.
magic.
That's where it has
It's the
potential.
radiation. That's why you have powers.
Well, and
They're
that could be
mutants.
cool. Like if he would have gone down that path, I would have been way more interested. I would say, and not knowing the other 2 books, but this probably would make one good kind of bad action movie. You know, it's like that bad popcorn action movie that you're like, okay, I'm here for this, but like book 1 is only 45 minutes, and you kind of cram the rest in, and you see the whole world. I would be down for that, but yeah.
Yeah, and Emily said they kept trusting who the chosen one, or kept changing who the chosen one was, so she doesn't trust them at all.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt about this book, because Nona, I believed her when she told her backstory, and then she changed her backstory, and like, I feel like everyone just lies in this book.
He probably
Again,
just
I don't
picked
trust
it up.
anything either.
Yeah,
Everyone's
he probably
comparing
just
the-
picked it up in spurts and was like, "Yeah, I'm going to change that today."
Everyone's comparing the Gisht in a barrel thing to the Hobbit.
And this is really interesting. I assume ship hearts were spaceship engines.
Yeah, there's no telling what they could be, but they do imbue you with some sort of extrasensory perception.
I'm
That
going to say it's radiation, and all
Oh, yeah,
these
they're
people
dying.
are mutated. And that's what's happening. And this is, you have a very specific
Interesting.
mutation. You're either real big or you're real fast or you have mutant magic.
Yeah.
We've been watching a lot of X-Men. Sorry.
And as far as
That's
the,
okay.
the powers go, like if you're really fast, you also age really fast, right? And then if you're really big, you're also really slow. What are the downfalls to the other two? Because I don't think they ever mentioned those in the first.
You
one.
might
the
be
quantals.
insane.
Okay.
I kept
yeah.
forgetting the whole like what the difference between the margals and the quantals were, and I had to keep reminding myself what they were.
Yeah.
One is
One is lesser magic and one is greater magic.
And what
I
is
was
that
gonna say
even?
one is lame magic and one's big magic.
Well, that's what the book says.
What even is the magic? The whole magic was not really touched upon here. It was mostly just the Hunskas and the other one
Mhm.
that kept being
Ooh, and then
focused on.
speaking
Jarrett
of
and
the magic
Hunska.
and losing threads and also possibly being crazy, did they ever tie up? So remember when they went to the academy and the girl tried to slice Nona's shadow, and that's when we found out about her finger swords and stuff. Did we ever figure out what was the deal with that girl who attacked her or who hired her, and how come we didn't hear?
So somebody, maybe Marcus, somebody who has the
why
power to
would-
control emotions, made that girl go like
But
rage
why would
crazy
he
as
do
well.
that?
I have no idea. I don't know. That's the thing. Is that things happen in this book, and I'm like, why is this? And then we've moved on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why? Why that happen?
Also, it's like it doesn't even like the whole like thing at the academy, the thing at the Caltest, like they happened, and like, oh gosh, it was. I'm just going on tangents now, but like it was so frustrating about like Nona thinking that Raymond poisoned her, and I'm like, just tell somebody. It's probably not that. I know that you're like it's probably not that. It's just
Well, but then when they found out about it, they knew exactly what it was. So, oh yeah, she accidentally touched him at this other thing, so it was probably something to do
they
with
knew
that.
exactly what it was.
Yeah, like, and the abbess has proven herself to Nona. Like, that is the one person that you know for sure you can trust and you can tell. Oh, and she conveniently is in charge of your school. So why not go to the utmost authority that you know for a fact that you can trust because she pizza ovened her hand for you? Like,
Oh no, Talia, too soon.
sorry.
Pizza.
No.
I could
Sorry.
totally eat pizza right now.
Nothing.
But yeah,
Aw.
there's so many things that just like happen, and I thought they were going to be a big thing. It's like, oh, we're working towards this. Oh, we're working towards this. Oh, now we're working towards this. Oh, I guess we're not. And then now that somebody threw ice at them and they don't care, they're like, oh, and they literally said, "What a day!" After that, they were like, "Whew, what a day this has been." After
Julie said, no, you find that out later, third book. I don't know what that's in reference to, but here's the thing.
Everything.
It means someone had a question, and I'm not going to get an answer until the third book.
something
Ew,
happened with you.
Matt.
That's our T-shirt right there. I want to see a picture of the nun with her hand in the
Oh.
oven, like
Uh,
And it looks
Speaking
like
of-
melty cheese coming down.
Speaking of Abbess Glass, kind of just disappeared there.
oh,
didn't she?
totally disappeared.
She did.
She
It's like
just
she's
like
not here now.
She went
Okay.
full Dumbledore. She straight up left the school. She left the school when Nona needed her the most, just like Dumbledore, and then came back conveniently later and was like, "Oh, you solved it all. Good job."
it's like when a TV show actor gets like a movie gig and they have to be in less episodes. Like when Chris Pratt got Guardians of the Galaxy when he was doing Parks and Rec, and he's only in like 2 or 3 episodes. That's what happened with the Abbess. Except Mark, it's a book. They're not real people that have other commitments.
10 points to Gryffindor.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's just
Whatever.
Yes.
Please.
Ah.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
A lot of things just happened and then disappeared.
So, talking about things just happening, Adrienne Lamb posted in the discussion topics post, she said, why is nothing explained to the novices? Each thing they do, the Cal test, the academy, the ranging, is talked about in vague hints spoken in circles. There are never specifics. And they just keep throwing the girls into situations half blind and then being upset when things go awry. What do these sisters expect? That was kind of, Adam mentioned earlier that the whole book felt episodic, and that's kind of what I felt too. Is it's just they mention these things in passing, but then they just throw these girls
this is
in.
the episode where they go to the Countess. This is the episode where they go to the Academy. And those are kind of the same episode.
And then even when they went to the ranging, Claire was like, yeah, like a year and a half ago, they taught us how to like navigate, but I don't remember any of that. So I'm counting on Nona. Like they didn't build up to this.
I could see two things. The one that is the logical conclusion is yes, this was a writing choice where we just wanted to move the story along a lot quicker and not explain things to you, and you catch up as you go. Or if you really, really want to sympathize with the book and you really, really want to like it, you could choose to believe that maybe this is part of their training. Maybe they're not told anything on purpose because you're not told anything in life. And the nerds have to be able to think on their feet. And it's a way to like constantly know that you have to take action without being prepared. Like it's a training exercise. You don't get information here.
Well,
and you must survive.
Everything else was like the Academy clearly was, and the first thing that they went to with the ring was.
There's just so many things that amounted to nothing. Or like barely anything. Like even so, let's take the Countess incident and the Academy incident, which had like sort of not long lasting, pretty big revelations. Not revelations. So the Countess, she charged at Raymel and on purpose and tried to kill him, and it didn't do anything. A day!
She drew blood.
Yeah, and then the Academy, where she finds out she can cut people's shadows with her hand blades, and then Sister what's her face that went with them is just like, oh yeah, this is what's happening. And then we're done. And then like, oh, it's back to being like, oh, Yisht is the devil. And it's all about like Yisht and Zol and like the ship hearts came out. What?
He just popped those in just here's the halfway point. Boop, boop, boop. Let's add these things.
And mentioning Yisht and ship hearts at the end of the book, Yisht got away with the ship heart, right?
What?
I think so. I guess
she got like cut up by Nona's shadow, and then she went up the hole after thrusting the ship heart at Nona, but it didn't say that she gave it to her.
That she lost it.
If someone,
what?
It doesn't even say that Yisht died. She just went off into a corridor that had
she's
no
still
ending.
alive. So we might have Yisht out there, and we definitely have the high priest dude that was Jacob or whatever.
Jacob.
Who he's coming back. Like I feel like they've set up the next books to have some overarching villains that this book sorely needed. And then of course we have the Taxes.
Only two things are certain: death and taxes.
Boo.
And with the Taxes, not even death is certain.
That's true. Hey.
Die.
Oh, well, I'm skimming trying to find out what happened to Yisht.
Is it Jacob? That was
High Priest Jacob.
The dude who killed Fourfoot.
From the first part of the book that ended up nothing.
Yeah.
I did like that. I mean, it took way too long, but I like that Nona finally greased her feet and ran the path.
Me too.
I dug that. And when she was so excited and came back and wanted to tell everybody, and they were like, other stuff's happening, and she was like, okay, I'm just gonna hold on to this information until I'm ready to tell everyone that I set a record. But, I was really excited for her, but I also that took too long. You should have done it at the halfway point, but whatever.
Yeah, and I don't care at this point. Good for you. But also,
I cared. That was exciting.
Mike,
It was
your comment,
great accomplishment.
your comment just made it click for me. I was like, what does Raymel remind me of? And he is definitely the mountain from Game of Thrones.
I don't know what that means.
He's it's
Is
just
the big guy. There
dude
was
that
a big
gets
guy.
He's a guy who should have died, who basically got like turned into this monster
Using
creature. Yeah,
voodoo.
it's pretty much the same. It's the same story.
Good.
So Katie Doll posted a fun question. She said, "What path would you want to follow?" And she's torn between Grey Sister and Mystic Sister. So I made a little list because I didn't remember all of them.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
The reds are the stabby ones, right?
Reds are the stabby ones. They're skilled in
Okay.
combat, usually showing Hunska blood. You have the Holy Sisters, which are
Mm.
concerned with honoring the ancestor and maintaining the faith, and they're the most common calling. Then you have the Grey Sisters that are skilled in espionage, stealth, and poisons, often showing martial blood and a talent for shadow work. And then you have the Mystic Sisters, which are able to walk the path and manipulate threads, and they always show quantal blood.
Oh, I would be a discretion. I would be a sister of discretion.
That's the Grey Sister.
Yeah, I want to poison people. Out of context, that sounds terrible. What is it called? I want to be a Grey Sister.
Grey
But also,
Sister.
the Grey Sister can also do stabby. So, I mean, I like that's the best of both worlds.
I think they all do a little stabby
Yeah,
if they need
they're
to.
all trained to, clearly.
Even Julie was
Yeah.
was doing some stabby
Yeah, she
in the end,
was.
and she was a holy sister.
Was she the one with like the incredible aim?
No, that was Ruli.
Okay.
Jula.
Yeah.
Julian, really?
Jula was the holy sister. Ruli was the one that could take a throwing star and hit you right in between the eyes with it, or in the eye.
You guys said in the pupil. That was another for the dialogue slut. Whoever said that earlier, that was another great line when they said something about like, you know, as long as you Nona was like, as long as you hit him somewhere in the eye, and Ruli was like, yeah, well, let me know. One day you're gonna meet an opponent with really, really tiny eyes, and you're gonna regret saying that. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's funny.
We have overwhelming Grey
it's all-
Sisters.
but I mean, how could you not like that? That's
I know
like,
they're the best.
yeah.
Which does make me slightly more excited to read the next book, if you think about it, because the next book is called Grey Sister.
Yeah.
And hopefully it has more apple in it, because she the bomb.
It better have more apple in it.
Do You Love Me Apple and her girlfriend, who we don't know if she's
we don't know if
dead or
she
alive,
survived.
right?
Kettle.
That makes me super sad. Thank you. I forgot her name.
Yeah, she finds Sister Kettle dying in the woods, and then bye.
Peace.
Let's go hide out in a cave. But she did call on Sister Apple using her special powers, and she like sent out a homing beacon or basically a psychic flare, if you will. It says like, "Hey, I'm here, Apple. You better come get me."
Because that's a thing now. I mean,
Yeah, because you could do that apparently. I wanted to see more of the teachers, the
doing
cool stuff. Like they
Oh, like
they
the-
seem to be very unfazed by like all this crazy stuff
They
happening.
almost did. Well, they did do cool stuff. It was just all off screen because they were talking about the girls would come and see like all of the destruction that had happened overnight. Like clearly the sisters were doing cool stuff and fighting
Like-
off people.
Yeah, they set up Sister Tala, right? She was the fighting instructor.
Yeah,
They set her up to be awesome and like a total BA, and then we didn't get to see her in action. She'd show up later and they'd be like, she hurt her arm, and then 1,000 pages
Yeah.
later you find out it's because she was fighting off the assassins. And I was like, well, that would have been cool to read, Mark. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
also someone did point it out in the comments, and I'm sorry I lost where it was, but they say, okay, so Yish stumbled back, retreating up the shaft. She blah blah blah, the shaft that led nowhere and offered no escape. And that's why I thought she didn't get away, and that's why I thought she died. She crawled up the thingy and was like, oh, but then whatever. But knowing this book and all of its twists, no one really dies, I guess. So.
because she didn't really send the shadow to finish the job.
Oh yeah, the shadow got sucked back through and Nona woke up.
As we all know, Hessa has a withered leg and then died.
Wait,
Has
where'd
who?
the
Hessa?
shadow?
Has a withered leg?
Wait,
Yeah.
where'd the shadow?
Who was that?
Wait, where'd the shadow go?
It
I
No,
remember
Nona's shadow to beat
No.
Yish.
her shadow's gone, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
in
because
the,
they mentioned it in the epilogue. She
yeah,
doesn't
that she
have a
doesn't
shadow.
have one.
Oh, I
She
missed that
lives
part.
the rest of her days with no shadow. She does not get that back. She
I forgot
sliced it.
about that. Yeah.
And it hurt her.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
really
So
painful.
that, I mean, now we know what Peter Pan goes through.
That's
So-
literally what I thought about. I was like,
is her shadow out there now, and she has to face that? Maybe that's gonna
It's
come
like
back.
Zelda 2.
is because that is what poison apple teacher lady was talking about. Remember when she poisoned them with the truth darkness, like the bitter pill, which that was a funny bit.
That was
Funny bit,
hilarious.
yeah.
But like that was what they talk about. Because Clara said someone said that they like whoever can send their shadow off to go do things, and while she's like sucking in all the darkness to shove it down their throats, she's talking about how dangerous it is because your shadow can go off and become its own monster.
I missed
so-
that part.
So I bet that that's going to come up in book
I bet it.
the,
I
end,
bet it
the very
will.
end of book 3.
Yeah, and Willow, this is a great point. I bet she was able to do amazing things when she was holding the ship heart.
That's a good point. But I don't like her. It would have been fine if she died. Well,
The truth poison was
And then
that
throw up.
got me. I laughed out loud.
but see, okay, yes, she's laughing as she poisons her students like a little worrisome and teacher. But
I
I,
think it's
do
cute.
like how she did in her own way. She's protecting the kids because remember she asked the kids like a question. She asked Nona like, "What are you like most scared of to tell me?" Thinking it'd be something cheeky, and Nona said something very real, and the teacher was like, "Who do you have a crush on?" like
Yeah.
to just immediately like give them some protection.
I loved that. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
She's the best.
Well, I mean, when you say like, you ask like, what's the one thing you don't want me to ask? You're probably going to get something real from that.
I mean, but like Nona comes from a very like harsh background though. A lot of these other girls don't. They're like merchants' daughters and people who can afford to be there. So their lives probably were not dark or definitely not nearly as dark as Nona's. So I don't, she's like, "Oh, well, I stole your pencil."
Oh, I have a question. Is Bethany? Yeah, Bethany, you're here. You posted you want to talk about the fact that you're going to need the support group to talk about spoiler at the end. Were you talking about Hessa or what were you talking about? Because
I
I'm
feel like-
really curious.
There's only
Yeah,
one
because
thing.
I felt bad because I didn't cry at any other part of the book. like,
I mean, I was
like,
sad about Hessa, but I
Yeah,
just
but
wanted
I
to know if that was it.
I only cried over the donkey though.
The
well,
donkey
the
thing. Let's
donkey
not even
thing
talk about the
was-
donkey
that was
thing.
bad.
It was a mule.
Too soon.
It was an
He
ass.
says yes. That was about Hessa.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I was much sorry, Hessa. But I was much sadder about Forefoot. But
Really?
but-
Well, okay. Forefoot was heartbreaking just the way it was done, but Hessa, we got to know her.
yeah, but Hessa knew what was going on. Forefoot did not.
They're
The donkey. Yeah, Hessa chose. Like, I'm still, don't get me wrong, very, very sad over Hessa. And, like, it was a really unfortunate loss because her story would have been incredible. She was going to do amazing things with her life because she was so
Yeah.
powerful. But the donkey didn't know.
He
He's
didn't.
just a donkey.
Hessa's was a
Okay.
noble. Hessa's was a noble death.
Yeah.
Forefoot's was tragic.
She tried to take on Yish all by herself with her withered leg.
Oh, the withered leg.
Yes, that Hessa.
That
Had a-
has-
Yeah, Hessa. No, but Hessa was a great character, and I think Hessa's thoughts and the way she looked at the world was, and she was always so calm, and like that was nice. It was a nice contrast to Nona, whose inner rage apparently
She's
fuels
also
her.
there for Nona, and I thought it was really cool actually that she let them test the poison on her.
The bone.
The bone, yeah.
Well, I mean, if anyone's going to get tested,
It
it's going to be the person that
made
can
sense.
actually go along.
And honestly, I was glad that they tested it before she went after Yish because I didn't trust Clara making that all by herself.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. We shouldn't trust Clara because we know not to trust Clara because Clara sucks.
Clara does suck.
Clara is not a real friend. Hessa was a real friend. And Clara's not a friend. And speaking of friends, it's another thing in the epilogue that made me mad. I know that Nona, and someone brought it up in the discussion, so we can all talk about it. I know that Nona has this weird definition of friendship, and what that means. And she's like, and you're gonna fight with me now. Okay, look, here's the thing, man. I understand that you need to be forgiving. I understand that nobody's perfect. But you know what? If one of my friends threw a spear at another one of my friends, I wouldn't be friends with that first friend anymore.
I think that's a good policy.
That's a good rule of friendship.
Yeah.
I accidentally hit a girl in the head with a spear in high school, and guess what? We're not friends anymore. That's not true. I think we're Facebook friends. I hope she's not watching.
What?
It was an accident.
Sure.
Why did you have spears?
It was in theater.
Britney Spears. She
So Mike
threw
says,
Britney
"Are we
Spears.
sure Hessa is dead? I still have faith that Saida lives, so maybe I'm just off." So yeah, I was expecting Saida to come back at some point too.
Really?
Who's Saida?
The girl,
Saida's the
her,
girl that got-
her friend at the prison. that Rainbow was
He broke her
Oh.
arm.
Rainbow. He was like broke her arm, and that's when Nona tried to kill him.
Leggy,
Yeah.
leggy, 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 leggy.
That's how Austin Powers reference.
Leggy, leggy, leggy,
Stop.
But
Yeah.
we did know that it was withered. But yeah,
leggy. Leggy, leggy, leggy.
Okay.
It's good. It's good.
Good.
but seriously though, Mark, do we need to know every time Hessa is even mentioned that she's like dragging her withered leg?
But to be fair, he introduced so many characters that a little reminder wasn't bad, even though I didn't have any
I didn't need it for
problems
Hessa.
remembering Hessa.
The blonde one. The one who is mentally connected to Nona. The one who's better at threads than anyone. Which I wonder, is that why? Like, did her physical handicap like lend itself? What the crap are you laughing at? Did that lend itself to her having this much stronger mental and emotional connection to the path and these threads? Because they do say like when one sense is weakened, the others, like people who are blind, can like hear. Never mind.
I see what you're saying though. Like, it's like when your eyes are closed, you can smell better, like that kind of thing. Try it. What do you smell?
Kind of stuffy right
Air. Yeah, the pollen's been jacking me up.
But yeah, I think Hessa definitely compensating for her lack of physical prowess with this sort of mental, spiritual, path walking prowess. But again, the
I don't know what that means.
the book also heavily implies that those kinds of abilities are genetic, like not necessarily related to your physical status. Like it's just how much percentage of tribe are you, and that determines like how you are.
But it like can skip around and skip all generations and stuff. Otherwise, every single person in your family, like all the genealogy, would have these things. So I don't know that it's like a perfect like genetic, like a Punnett square situation, where I think it obviously has to do with blood and their genetics, but it's not like Nona's mom had these abilities.
That we know of.
Well, her mom was dark too, wasn't she? Because they mentioned that both of them like look different than everybody else in the town.
It's because of the Ice Daddy who like brought them to the
Daddy.
I'm gonna push you out of this frame. Like they were outsiders. I don't remember anything honestly from the beginning of this book. I'm gonna be real with you. It feels like it was a really long time ago.
So this, there were actually other, like we knew Clara had dark hair, and other people had dark hair.
Because the
Well, yeah,
Huntsman-
if they have
and
Hunska blood, they
Darla
would have dark
Smash.
hair.
This is my favorite comment. 'Cause
I don't know.
Darla
I don't know if
Darla was basically like the Hulk.
I
in
don't
this
know if
book.
any of y'all have seen Gravity Falls because it's technically a children's
Good
show, but it's really amazing.
It's fun.
And if you've seen it, there's a little girl in the show who's super adorable and she's really cute, but she talks like this.
Grinda. Grinda.
Grinda loves boy bands. Like, talks like that all the time. And that is, whenever I was reading, that is how I pictured her. It's like this cute little girl who's just like tree trunk arms and like,
Kind of how the narrator did it in the audiobook, honestly. Like,
What?
not to that extent, but a little bit. She didn't sound like the other girls.
But yeah, I think the more that and obviously they got older and older as the book went on, but the more the book went on, like the more like hulking Darla became. It was just like at first she was just like, yeah, she's one of the bigger kids, and then by the end of the book, it's like this giant skyscraper of a human reached out her house-sized hand
and just like picked up them. But remember, they were like, "Don't let him touch you." He's like, "I go squish your head with the hand."
Grunkle Stan.
Yeah, that was a.
and Leanne could be talking about Nona as a character or Darla.
That's the thing. Okay, so in the back of my head, no one tell me if I'm right or wrong. But in the back of my head, I keep thinking that Nona's going to be the chosen one because they do mention, even though she's tiny now, they say that they don't know when that. What is the big ones? Not Hunska.
Hunska.
The big,
Oh,
the whatever's the bigness that does not always manifest like that until
Jarrett.
like the end. It's not like immediately present. It's possible that it's not immediately present as a child. That could be like a puberty thing that happens maybe. And so maybe she's going to continue to grow through the books, and maybe she has, because we already know she's got 3, maybe she's 4. They don't talk about how big she is in the epilogue, I don't think. But I don't know. She's only 18. She could keep on growing. And then I lost my choo-choo train of thought, but you know what I mean. Maybe she is. Maybe. Do we know? Don't tell me if you know.
Congratulations, Katie, winning bingo.
Although I'll say,
Congratulations, you-
Katie made the bingo.
You
So
Might be
cheater.
skewed.
congratulations, you win our appreciation
There
and
are
our
so
love.
many puns in this comment section. It's amazing.
Free.
God, just what?
Chosen Juan.
Okay. But yeah, so this book, am I right? What a day.
what a day.
What a day.
That's the thing that like got me the most was that like they just keep going through some stuff and then they're like, oh boy, time for the next episode.
Well,
and then
this
they all
is
just ended laughing. They're
Funny,
like,
they tell us that Zola is the one, and then they just end it. Like,
but it was Sister Kettle that told Nona that Zola was the one and that Nona and Era were the two
the
shields.
yeah.
But like, what does she know? Really, what does
Nobody
anybody
knows
know?
anything.
And what like they are obviously acting out of certain beliefs that may or may not be true.
And some of them
like,
don't even.
So she probably believes it, and like people are going through a lot of trouble for Zol and Yish and then Tarksax to protect her. And but with the other things that we never found out in this book, Sister Wheel was always kind of hush-hushy whisper with
Oh, yeah,
Yish,
she was.
and like never found out what that was all about.
Sister Wheel sucks.
She did.
I hate it. Super strong Snape vibes the whole book, but like before we knew that Snape maybe had part of a redeeming quality. So like Snape with none of that, just full on like the teacher that you want to hate, that is targeting Nona. And now we know she's targeting Nona because the reason she hates Nona is because she hates herself, because she is also from the Grey. And remember, she said nothing good comes out of the Grey except for like beggars and liars or whatever. And then it turns out she's one of them. And guess what? Self-hate, very unhealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That rant was not necessary, but yeah, I hate her.
but why was she? What was was there any conspiracy between her and Yist
Maybe we'll
and
find out in the next
Zol-
book.
I don't
At the end of
really
book 3.
want to find out though. That's the thing.
Okay.
All the-
I have a question. So with the prologue and the epilogue and all of that, all the future flashes, what were they coming for? Were they coming for Nona or Zol or the ship heart?
That is confusing because it seems like they were coming because she asked where Lano Taxis was.
Yeah, Taxis is involved.
So there's a
He's
Taxis
there.
involved, but Clara was there, and but then now she was like, Clara, you can fight with me as sisters, and then the book ended.
I just want to know what they were going after, because really it could be any or all of those things.
I guess
does
we'll
it-
just have to keep reading to find
That's
out.
true. But it would not surprise me at all if those flash forwards, I bet the second book doesn't even get to that point. Like, or maybe it just gets to that point.
Katie says
I
they said
bet-
Taxis was coming for Thorn, which
I
is
bet they're
Arabella.
coming for something else
Oh, see,
that
that's
we haven't-
interesting.
even been introduced to yet.
That's totally possible.
Yeah,
This book
considering
lies.
the chosen one didn't show up until like very close to the end of this book.
Okay, that's
I'm-
another thing. We're putting it together.
Okay. You guys are like PIs.
The first line says they were coming for Thorn.
No. Well, yeah, and that's what the first person said, that she was coming for. Yeah, Thorn.
But they weren't. So here's the thing. It says it's important when killing a nun to ensure that you bring an army of sufficient size, so that they knew they were going to have to kill some nuns in order to get what they want. It doesn't necessarily say that that is their purpose. It's just if you're going to a place that's protected by murdering nuns, you need a good army. So I don't know. I feel like now, judging from what I know of his writing, I feel like it's something that we're not even aware of yet. Like,
That he
I
just
mean,
made
it's
up.
it's gonna be like
right.
there's a magic button that can spin the moon like into a disco ball, and we're not gonna read about it until a third into book 3.
Yeah.
And then we'll get the whole scene of the epilogue.
And speaking of controlling the focus moon,
Why?
well, but also like, how did the Empress's sister? How is she the first one to think that it's meant the ship hearts and not the 4 bloods? Because that seems like they should have realized that.
Yeah,
Someone should have like thought of that.
he threw too much into it. There was not. Like, I want to know, but not bad enough to read. Like, I want Joe to send me like this much text to say, "Here's what happens."
But not until I'm
And-
done reading the series, because
No, you can just send
on
it to me, Joe.
accident.
Just be like, "Look, I need a paragraph. Like, it's
Just say it.
spaceships." I'll be like, "Oh, that's cool."
I don't wanna
Space
know.
is cool.
Well,
Final
yeah, like-
frontier.
But also, yes, we can do that. Star Trek. Is that on your Big O cards? No, Katie already won.
we can have a second place.
But yeah, it's like, okay, so we got the ship hearts. We got, if you get this prophecy comes together, and then you can control the focus moon. But then what are you gonna do with it? You gonna melt the rest of the ice? You gonna what?
Yes.
Like, what
You
yeah,
can expand the corridors only 50 miles wide. Like, why not,
but there's
socially
like,
distance a little bit?
like what Natalie said. There might be many more ship
They
hearts.
mentioned that there might be like
Oh, yeah.
hundreds, right, or something like that.
So like this, does he even-
11,000. I don't know. I pulled that up.
Does he even know what? I mean, I'm sure he does. There's 2 other books in the series, and I feel like this book was just a thing to make people buy more books. But
That's
Whoa, Martin, strong take. This is my least favorite book so far.
okay.
Wow.
were
I would
you
say
here in October of last year, though?
that was 2 years ago.
Wow.
Have you been here since the beginning? Because we've read some stinkers.
We read Interview with the Vampire, and that book is terrible.
Hard boiled Wonderland.
Well,
is...
that was not our favorite.
But okay, so we're about at 8:30. So final thoughts. Will you
Oh,
be,
look! Leanne said that so many of these things y'all are talking about are answered
so that's
later.
encouragement for
That's
those of you who
really
wish to
good
continue.
to know. Yeah.
I want to go
Yeah.
from liking this book to loving this series. That
Yeah,
is my
yeah.
goal.
And honestly, that's happened before because I kept reading on The Magicians. I did not like the first one, but I loved the series by the time I was done. So maybe this
Fair.
is one of those
So you're going to keep going
eventually.
eventually.
I am, yes.
I am not. I have, as much as I would like to still live in the world, I don't think I can invest in it that much because there's other things that I want to read. So it had some fun parts. I really liked the world, but I don't think it was enough to make me want more. And that's just my opinion.
Even though I only like this book, I am definitely going to keep reading because now that y'all told me I'm going to get answers, y'all know how much I love answers. I hate not knowing. Ugh. So I have to keep reading. And hopefully by the end of it, I will have pulled a Christy Magician.
Yeah,
Also,
this
that
was
no, you go.
no. You go.
I was just gonna say that last chapter was an hour and 30 minutes long. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's 2 hours
You
in the
don't
audiobook.
have to read a whole chapter at a time.
I do though, or else I told you it's like
That's what bookmarks are for.
it's like a save point in a video game. If I stop reading at any point in the chapter, and I don't save at the end of the chapter, I'm gonna forget what I read and I gotta start over.
No, That's
the beginning of the
not
chapter.
fair.
That's a weird way for
I
your
could
brain
s-
to function.
It's a safe point. I like that, Adam.
I got a computer for a brain.
Face you just made.
Me, I already told y'all. I already returned it. I'm totally fine with getting a really brief synopsis, but there's way other things that I
Don't you
would.
return every book?
No, I really don't. I've kept
Thank
a
you.
lot of the Wool stuff. I've kept Red Rising and purchased more of those. So yeah, I'd rather jump into a different series. This one, if it gets more sci-fi-y, he lost his chance with me. Like if he would have thrown some of that stuff in there a little bit more, if we would have gone with the moon phases and the ship hearts a little more, maybe. But yeah, that's cool.
I'm gonna tell
It's
you
not my
that.
it's not my least favorite, but
I'm gonna tweet at Mark Lawrence and say you lost your chance with Lucas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
one
Now,
day that
they-
might
they
mean
did have-
something.
They did have helpful gaps
Yes.
between the paragraphs, quick saves, but
I do like those breaks.
quick save is more like an auto save, and sometimes those aren't as reliable.
I don't trust it.
Not a thing.
My thing is I can't stop at the bottom of a page because when I open the book, I don't remember have I already read this page or is this a brand new page that I now have to start? So
Yeah.
honestly, I like to stop in the middle. And then I
I
can
get that.
usually just find
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I was on the second paragraph or the third. I'll read that first line of the paragraph and then my brain just kind of remembers for later, oh, I need to go back to the sentence that was about kumquats.
That sounds like chaos.
That's where I was.
No, that's what I do too.
That's chaos.
It's just that's how I remember.
That's chaos.
We
My
should,
brain is chaos.
Anyway, so yeah, do we have any announcements from you?
I don't have any announcements.
Oh yeah, that's an announcement.
That's
the
an
next
announcement.
book, Nikki Drayden's The Prey of Gods for May is our next month.
Yeah,
that
May
is
is
happening.
next
Gonna buy my.
Y'all weren't there, so I'll just tell you that she started following us on Instagram, and when I saw the notification, I tried to be cool, but instead I saw it and I went, yee! So I don't know.
Who
Maybe
knows?
we're gonna be best friends. Maybe
Maybe.
we're gonna reach
I think
out
we
and
already
say, hey,
are.
talk to us about this book. Don't get super excited. That's not a teaser.
That's not
we
a
haven't
teaser.
talked to her yet. But you know,
But
But she
you
at
might
least
try.
knows who
the
we
best
are.
friends.
That's
I'm inviting
So-
her to my birthday party.
Cool.
I only have one quick announcement. That is all the people that wrote Take a Shot. And we did it. We have a complete draft. More to come. So bravo to everyone. And we have some fantastic editors also that are contributing just as much, if not more, than the writers. Adrienne and Katie and Chris, thank y'all so much for giving me, because I'm way too close to the project. I could literally, if you could tell me the number, I could tell you who wrote it and what they wrote about and what their decision was or where they took it, because I've literally, it's been in my head for 2 months. So yeah, it's coming, guys. And guess what? June is our 2-year anniversary, so maybe it'll be around then. I don't know.
Quick before I forget, though, in regards to this book, I don't remember the dates, but that's okay. It's in May. But I will update the cover photos tomorrow. So if you need a reminder of what the midway point is or when the 2 discussion dates are, that is always on the YouTube cover photo, the Twitter cover photo. Instagram doesn't give me a cover photo, but it's on Facebook and in the lounge. It always says the 2 discussion dates and what the midway point is. So, no spoilers past that point.
Yeah, lots of fun things. Take a shot. Pray of God.
So good. Y'all, take a shot. Take a shot stories #1. Title TBD is better than this book by leaps and bounds. Maybe I'm biased. It is way better than Red Sister. Y'all are gonna. We do, and I forget. Maybe it was Jenny. But so many people. We have so many awesome creative people. This was an easy process. It really was. There wasn't any real hard part. It's just putting it together. We have so many awesome, wonderful people, and I think it's a testament to the whole group. It really is. Like it was.
Thanks for being awesome.
Yeah, like
And
for real. Like
if you didn't get to participate, there will be other opportunities.
there will
to
be
get
other
on something
opportunities.
like that.
Well,
It's
actually, there's another way to participate. I did not write anything because I'm not a writer, but I am a reader. So my way of participation is I'm very much looking forward to reading this book and getting to take all the adventure decisions and see what happens.
Yeah, because the cool part is at the bottom of every page, you're going to see who wrote that page. Excuse me. So
He's so excited. He's so good.
I really am. Like it has been so much fun, and people are like, "Oh, you're putting so much work into it." I was like, "No, it's not work. It was like getting a present every time somebody sent something." So anyway, I won't talk anymore. Adam and Christy are at the beach. They need to go do beach stuff. That's all I
Eat some
have.
coconut shrimp for me. Please.
Yes.
I can't eat any more today.
Eat some coconut shrimp for breakfast tomorrow and have a frozen pina colada.
Yeah, I can do that.
I did that today.
Yes, you did.
So
It was
proud.
delicious.
All right.
no
Well,
problem.
thank you so much for reading with us for another month, and we'll see you next month for the Prey of Gods.
What?
Bye, everybody.
Bye.